Hi guys, welcome to the FlyMe flight simulator again. We're back in the flight deck, about to do another route. So today it's Manchester to Knock in Ireland. Currently on stand 5-4 at Manchester, just on the APU, ready to get up and running. So this route was suggested by good old Irish Dave. Originally he mentioned a place called Donegal, but that'd be quite interesting as it's actually shorter than Skiathos, so we'd probably end up swimming in the Irish Sea if we did that. So we come for the next best thing. We're going to Knock, so it should be a nice flight. So we'll be doing a normal standard instrument departure out of Manchester again, like usual, and it will be a bit of a different one this time again. It'll be an ILS approach into Knock for runway, is it 26, Spence?
26, yes.
Runway 26 into a Knock, so instrument landing system approach. So compared to the past two flights we've done, this one will be a precision approach, so it's a lot easier to fly, and we'll have a talk through that in the cruise. So that's a bit about the flight. Spencer will go through a bit more in-depth routing once we're up in the cruise. And yeah, if you haven't watched any of the other videos, actually, please go and give them a watch, and like and subscribe to the channel, and also you can do the bell icon to notify you when we're going live. So when you sat at home, a little ping will come up on your phone, and you'll know it's time to get watching. So yeah, that's a bit about the flight. We'll be talking again in the cruise. So if we go for the pre-flight checklist then.
Pre-flight checklist. Oxygen
is tested 100%.
nav and display switches are normal and auto.
Checked.
Window heat is on. Pressurization mode selector is auto. Isolation valve is open. Flight instruments
Are set for departure.
speed brake
Is down D10.
parking brake
Is on.
engine start levers.
Cut off.
Pre-flight checklist complete.
Before start checklist to the line, please.
Before start checklist to line. Fuel, we've got 5,300 kilos.
Pumps are now coming on.
Cross feed is closed.
And
Pumps are now.
centre tank's staying off, so we've got no fuel.
Off. Passenger signs are on. MCP
Is 137 V2, heading 232, altitude 5,000 feet.
takeoff speeds.
Are V1 115, VR 124, V2 137.
CDU pre-flight.
Is complete.
Rudder and aileron trim.
Are 3 and 0.
Taxi and takeoff brief.
We'll do that now. So yeah, we said we're on stand 5-4 at Manchester. So if you have got charts at home, you can have a look, or if you're in your sim, have a look through as well. So we're currently on stand 5-4 at Manchester. So we're going to be pushing back. It'll be onto Golf, and then we'll take Hotel 2 onto Juliet, past Hotel 1 onto Hotel, cross runway 05 left 23 right. So like last time we did a runway cross, so careful that, onto Hotel Zulu 1 onto Victor, past Victor 1 holding point, Victor onto runway 23 left. So it's 23 left for departure. We've got the weather information, so we're taking 23 left, and the departure we're taking is the Sonex 1 Yankee departure for runway 23 left. So we've got airport elevation is 257 feet. Got a warning on there, so no turns below 760 feet. Do not climb above 5,000 feet until instructed by ATC. We've got that pre-selected in the altitude window, 5,000 feet. Warning, runway 23 left. In the event of a missed approach on runway 23 right, ATC may instruct aircraft whichever have departed from runway 23 left to make a left-hand turn or to establish separation. So that's quite an interesting one, isn't it? So if there's aircraft landed on 23 right, aircraft taken off on runway 23 left with a right-hand turn out after departure, but an aircraft goes around on 23 right, you can see how there might be some confliction there. So that's that warning there, and that's covered that, so that's nice. The routing though for the Sonex 1 Yankee is, if you want to compare this with the legs page as well, climb straight ahead at D3.2 on the Mike Charlie Tango, to right 344 degrees track towards Exuma, I'd want to say, something like that. Cross D7 on the Mike Charlie Tango at over 2,500 feet, max 5,000 feet. At D8 on the Mike Charlie Tango, turn right, intercept the Wallasey radial 081. Cross D33 Wallasey at 5,000 feet, Sonex at 5,000. Then we get to Sonex, we'll expect further climb up to our cruise 270.
Yeah, that's checked.
Does that all sound good? So go get a bit some flight directors on. So I'll take master, and I'll also take LNAV for the departure. So before start checklist below the line, please, Spence.
Before start checklist below the line. Flight deck door.
Close and locked.
Mobile devices.
Off.
Doors and windows.
Close and locked.
Packs are coming off.
Checked.
Anti-collision light coming on.
Checked.
Transponder is XPNDR.
Checked.
Before start checklist complete.
Right, we've been cleared push and start. It's a bit of a bigger operation here at Manchester, so you have numerous, so you'll have ground, you'll have delivery, you'll have tower, whereas at other airfields like Doncaster and stuff, it's just tower. So yeah, if you're happy, Spence, I'm going to release part brake. And he should lift us up, shouldn't he, for the push.
Yep, stand by on that.
Checked. Got Dave from Swissport coming to push us back.
There he is.
So yeah, we've got the tug driver just coming round at about 60 miles an hour. And once again, if anyone does have any questions today, feel free to shout them into the chat, or any suggestions, anything like that you'd like to see, or even come down and have a go yourself. You can always head over to the website at flyme.co.uk and come in for an experience sometime. Right, so we can just hear the pushback driver now, so he's going to lift our nose up to make sure he can actually push us back. And we've got packs are off, anti-collisions on. So all the anti-collision light is just that red little beacon on the top and bottom of the aircraft that flashes. So it probably drives you mad when you're on a night flight and you can just see it flashing constantly. But it does what it says on the tin really, anti-collision. So notifies ground crew that if it's on, not to come anywhere near the aircraft, as there could be a risk of getting sucked into the engines or something. See a bit of rain at Manchester.
Yeah.
Bit of drizzle. So is this real world weather?
Real world weather, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got real world weather on, so it's exactly how it'd be at the moment, which is nothing else to be expected really other than rain, so.
It's your QNH set wrong on yours.
Checked. 1011.
Yeah.
So once again we're doing a D rate takeoff today actually, so it's a 22k D rate, is it?
Yeah, full 22k.
22k D rate, and we've got an assumed temp of 58 degrees. While waiting for the pushback, do you want to have a quick talk through the route and resume it in the flight if we start to move?
So the route today is taking out a 2-3 left, following the departure procedure, all the way up to outside of the city of Manchester, and then we'll probably take heading select at the end of that procedure just to intercept the VOR that's
Parking brake needs to be on, Spence.
Yes. So we'll intercept that Wallasey VOR at the end of the departure procedure, and then it's left turn all the way out to the Irish Sea. Following on from that, inland over Dublin, north side, and then the arrival procedure into Knock, and then onto the ILS for 26.
There we go, he's lifting us up now. So you can just see the nose raising up possibly by looking at the artificial horizon. And yeah, we're cruising at 270 today, so that'll be our flight level. Not too high, but can't really go much higher, can we, Spence? Or else things start to get quite interesting on the descent. So he's lifted us up now, so park brake off.
Yep.
And off the blocks. When Dave wants to move us back. There we go. Could start engine 2, please, Spencer.
Starting to.
pretty good scenery here at Manchester. So
Yeah,
you
very
can even see the little Manchester airport signs. Is this the Aerosoft scenery or Orbex?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's 25%.
Checked. So see if you can remember what we've mentioned on the past 2 chats about what we're looking for on the starts. Just give your brain a little little tease.
Start with that.
That's checked. I'll start number 1.
Starting one.
So see if you can remember it in order as well. Leave a comment below if you want to about the starter procedure, what we're looking for, how it's done. Try and make it as interactive as possible. Approaching 25%.
25%.
Swinging us around there, really. Start to cut out, and the after start flow. So see if you can remember that as well. Checked. Right, I'll set the park brake. So there's a pushback, that's all done. We've just got to wait for him to disconnect now, and in the meantime I'm taking before taxi checklist.
Before taxi checklist. Generators are on. Pro beats are on. Anti-ice is off, not required. Packs auto. Isolation valve is in auto. Engine start switches are continuous. Recall is checked.
Checked.
Auto brake is RTO. Engine start levers.
Idle descent.
Flight controls.
I'll check them now if you want to follow me through. So full up. Neutral, full down. Neutral, full left. Neutral, full right. Neutral and rudder. Full left. Neutral, full right. Neutral. And that's checked.
And ground equipment
is standing by.
Standing by. Right.
So in the cruise today we're going to have a talk about a few things. So we're going to talk about engine failures after takeoff, things like that, just to keep learning stuff. That's the goal. And also talk about the ILS approach as well. What's different with that? And ground equipment clear on the left.
Clear on the right.
Great. So park brake's coming off. Taxi, yeah, perfect. So you don't need much thrust actually to get it going. That's replicated quite well in the simulator. So a lot that run on different platforms. Do you remember when it used to be on? What was it?
Oh yeah, you had to have like
about
full
6
thrust on
yeah, about
P3,
6.
didn't you?
Whereas now you just need a little blob, little bumper power to get the aircraft moving, and then you can cut it back to idle. Because the more time these thrust levers are idle, the better, because you're using less fuel. So there's Hotel 1, which we're taking onto Hotel, which is straight ahead, and then we'll be crossing runway 05 left 23 right. So if you're going to do the active runway checks, and just transponder, and we'll do the before takeoff checklist once we get past the runway, just because we don't want to be doing all that. So checklists are designed to not really be done simultaneous with any other task, as they are a checklist at the end of the day, so we want to make sure that that's primary attention, and if something does interrupt the checklist, just ensuring to come back to it. So clear on the left.
Clear on the right.
If you want to bing the cabin. And we'll say we've been cleared to take off as well. So take it down, Hotel Zulu and then Victor. And just before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Takeoff briefing.
Is reviewed.
Centre tank fuel pumps are off, not required. Cabin is secure. Flaps.
Set for departure.
Stabiliser trim.
5.75 units set, 5.75 units required.
Transponder.
Is TRA.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Great, so we're all good to go. We've been cleared for takeoff, so we'll shove the lights on, taxi light can come off, and I'll take it on the roll, Spence. So here's Victor 3. So we'll take a left turn here and straight on. Let's do this into the cloud.
Yes. IMC. Ooh.
Yeah, IMC, yeah. But there's a big misconception with that, so we'll have a good talk about that as well, all the illusions. That's a really interesting one actually in human performance. Well, I think it's interesting. About all that stuff. So we have all these lovely flight instruments in the Boeing, but you really do need to be able to tell what's going on when you do lose instrument reference and lose visual reference. So that's going to be a good topic to talk about today. So 2-3 left's identified, approach path's clear on the left. And timers. And spooling up.
Stable.
Happy, takeoff.
M1 Toga.
Checked.
80 knots.
Checked.
V1. Rotates. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gears coming up.
LNAV.
400 feet.
Checked. Into the cloud we go. Scared, Spencer.
Very.
See how well the weather's replicated as well, it does look great. And there's
Selfie.
M1 bug up, please. N1. And flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
So there's that first right on turnout now that we need to be wary of for go-arounds. And flaps up, please.
Flaps up.
So as we talked about before, what would happen now if an aircraft coming in on T3 right and go around? So we get a turn, a left-hand turn, just to clear that conflict. Take VNAV.
VNAV engage. VNAV speed.
Checked. And flaps up, no lights, after takeoff checks.
After takeoff checklist. Engine bleeds are on. Packs are in auto. Landing gear is up and off. Flaps are up, no lights. Altimeters remaining on QNH 1011.
That's checked.
After takeoff checklist complete.
So a little break in the cloud there. And 1000 to go, set VS 1000 please. Alt acquire. MCP speed. So there's 5,000 feet, anticipating that level off. And we should expect further clearance when we get to Sonics. And set standard passing flight level 5-1. And we're already at flight level 5-1. So maintain 5,000 feet Sonics. So this is why sometimes when you're going on holiday, you might feel like, why are we going the wrong way, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Palmer's left, mate, why have we turned right? So that's just because of these SIDs, with all the standard instrument departures. You just have to follow them, as it's a safe, efficient way to get traffic in and, well, out of the airport. And the stars, which are the sort of the opposite of a SID for the arrival, they're the best way of getting in. Because don't forget, air traffic control have got to get aircraft doing that and doing that up and down safely without any conflict happening. So that's why we have these SIDs and these stars and all these different departures and approaches. So one thing we'll be cautious about, Spence, is that quite sharp turn, and we're at reasonably high speed actually as well.
Take heading select at that point.
Yeah, we'll take heading select. If you want to put a rough heading in now, just what looks alright. Great. And I'll keep it in LNAV just for the time being. Just because we may as well follow that LNAV track. It might work out alright. Might just shoot through it a bit, but that's just normal and expected. Right, rolling the wings level there. Make sure nice and smooth movements in any aircraft you fly, as people don't want to spill the gin and tonics. Not many people will be having them yet at 5,000 feet.
Bit too early.
Yeah, and you can release the cabin crew, please, Spence. So you can see our Cosworth level now, that not much thrust is required. However, what we will do, let's say in today's purposes we've been cleared up to flight level 270 now, so since I've still flying manually, Spencer will put 270 in the out window, and then he'll press out into vent. That'll clear any restrictions on the SID. You might just have to actually manually delete them, that's it. Let's go N1. Oh. Take VNAV, there we go, M1 VNAV speed. So that's still bugging for 250 knots. And you can also see that the restrictions have been deleted from the FMC. So you can also hear that that engine speed has come back up. We'll take it round in LNAV. If you want to give direct sonics in the FMC, just to clear things up a bit. Right, there's approaching 7,000 feet. Checks. So compared to airports in, say, Greece and places like the way, do you know where you'd be cleared straight up?
Yeah.
So with the busy Manchester air corridor, and the, well, not even just Manchester, well, not busy at the moment, but back in midsummer operations can get pretty busy. So if you want to start bringing it around on heading select for us now, Spence, just take heading select. We'll just start a gradual turn around to the left. This just makes things more sensible with the flight. You don't want to be ragging it around some sharp turn. Approaching 10,000 feet, we could have the 10,000 feet checks, please. And I'll go command 8. And I'll route us direct to Penhill. Good release passengers. So we're up above the cloud now, just past 10,000 feet, so we turn the lights off, release the passengers. And when we're on an intercept angle to take LNAV, I'll take LNAV. And then we'll have a chat through today's classroom activities. Right, LNAV. In fact, I'll update the position first. LNAV. That's engaged. So I'll tell you what we'll do first. We'll have a brief of the approach and stuff. So if you're happy, Spence, if you want to grab the where is it? The ILS Alpha for runway 26 at knock. Got that all good. Yep. And if you have got charts at home, feel free to get them up now, and you can also follow it through with us. So we got the ILS Alpha for runway 26 at knock, ATIS 118.525, knock tower 130.7, ground 130.7. The localizer is 110.7, so we'll get that in the nav box now. So this is what we'll have a talk about shortly. final approach course is 264. I'll pop that in as well. That's all set. Glide slope platform altitude is 3,000 feet, so we'll descend straight down to that when we're at top of descent. Decision altitude is 765, so we'll set that now. Sorry, my mistake there. It's set to 200. And missed approach altitude is 3,000. Does that all look good to you, Spence?
Yep, happy with that.
Shot past it there. Just passing 17,000 feet. I've nearly got it. Right, that's set. Now it's set. Airport elevation 665 feet, runway elevation 665, so that's all pressurised. MSA for our sector, it'll be, let's have a look, will be 2,000 feet currently. And it possibly might transition over to 3,500, so we'll keep an eye on that as we want to be careful with that. We'll be coming in from
Kigo, I think it is.
Yes. We've got the 110.7 set. 3,000 feet is platform. Missed approach is 3,000 feet, which we've mentioned. Happy to have a look at the missed approach procedure?
Yep.
So missed approach procedure will be climb on radial 264 on the Charlie Oscar November to 3,000 feet. Then turning left, continuing climb to 4,000 feet to enter holding or as instructed by ATC. So nice one for that. So in the standby box, we'll take Charlie Oscar November, which is 117.4, and then in that case we'll switch over to that and go VOR 1 for that. So that can come off actually for the moment. Altimeter is hectopascals, runway elevation is 24 hectopascals. So there's 27 feet in a hectopascal. Transition levels by air traffic, transition altitude 5,000 feet. VOR and DME required, which we've got. Scalloping may occur at 8 DME on the India Charlie Kilo. ILS DME reads 0 at runway 26 threshold. ILS fluctuations may occur due to terrain, so we'll make note of that about the ILS may fluctuate due to terrain. And apart from that, that's everything looking good. And top of drop, as we said, is a platform 3,000 feet. Inbound course is set 264. There's approaching 3 to go, so I'm going to go VS and we'll leave it to 2,000 feet. MCP speed, vertical speed. So once we level off, we'll have a talk through the ILS and what that is, and we'll also have a talk about some other things as well, any more in-depth routing, about the operating flight plan, the winds, and also the engine failure stuff as well, which is all interesting. So approaching 2,000 feet to go, that's set. Make sure to get my seat comfy. And we've only just got a change of pants from like last Gibraltar landing.
Yeah.
That was very interesting. Well, as we said, what did we say? Sporty.
Very sporty.
Very sporty. Right. Get ready to do 1 to go. So heading's matched up as well. I'm going 1 to go now. So got 1,000 feet to go to level off. Cruising at 27,000. And let's have a talk about the ILS then. So, in fact, we've only been up 13 minutes. We are speed.
Check.
Right, so we've got ILS approach. So, what is an ILS approach? So, it's an instrument landing system. So it sort of does, once again, like they all do what they say on the tin. It operates on a radio nav based system. It's short guidance, so you can't pick it up from horrendously far out. So we've got it tuned in now, but we're not picking anything up, are we, on terms of DME, which is a distance measuring equipment. What we expect to see on the plate, so we expect to see a localizer ILS frequency, which we've got in 110.7. We see a final approach course. Also we have some minimums, so we got out quite there. Minimums, all they are is, that means we have to be visual with some form of runway or lighting when that's called. If not, we carry out as per the missed approach procedure, come around again and try again, and hopefully the weather's got better. If not, you'd start to look at diverting and stuff. And I believe our alternate today is Dublin, is it? Dublin, yeah. So that's another place with an ILS as well. So, as we said, if you're not visual, it'll be go around missed approach. So there'll be 2 radio signals coming out from the runway that are hitting the aircraft. And I'm just going to route us direct to Barbara. Good old Barbara.
Barbara Streisand.
Got some music on. Yeah, so there's 2 radio signals that come out to the aircraft. We've got the localizer and the glide slope. So if you have a pull up a 737 PFD on an ILS at home, you'll see at the bottom there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 circles and a dash in the middle. That's the localizer. And going vertically up along the side of the artificial horizon, there'll be 4 circles again with the dash line in the middle. That's the glide slope, and as we said, the horizontal one is the localizer. What we're going to get is 2 diamonds appear, magenta coloured diamonds, and our goal is to make sure they're both in the middle on the dash line, if you can see that. So we're going to get a diamond there, and if they're both on in the middle, that means we're on profile to the runway. You shouldn't really go at half scale deflection. What is half scale deflection? So you can see 2 dots either side, 2 dots either side. If we go beyond that criteria, then it will be a misapproach, unstable, which we don't want. The flight directors also guide us down the ILS, so unlike the past 2 flights where we've had to use what we were using, raw data, weren't we?
Raw data.
In today's case, we can follow the flight director all the way down to the runway. However, it is nice to maintain that visual every 5-10 seconds or so, maybe every 5 seconds. Have a look outside, because if it's a clear day, looking outside is going to give you a lot more information than looking at those flight directors, isn't it? So ensuring to look outside. Also, we have, as we mentioned, the DME through the localizer frequency. That's distance measuring equipment, and that will just tell us how far away we are from the runway. Usually you'll get vectored onto the ILS as well, won't you, Spence? Yeah. So if you want to have a talk to him about how you get vectored on by air traffic and stuff, and just a quick little chat on that.
So the ways you can get vectors is you'd request that by tuning into the tower frequency at the airport you're planning on going to, and either on the arrival as you approach it, you'd request what's these vectors, and ATC would continuously talk to you about where they want you to fly and maintaining traffic separation, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they'd give you headings which you put into here on this panel. So it might be heading 299.
Yeah.
You'd go into heading select, then you'd fly that heading, then they'd say, oh, fly 253, then you'd do that.
Yeah.
Simultaneously listening out for that.
It's an easy way to get positioned on. At less busier airports, so you might just get something called self-position, which is self-position. So you just self-position yourself on the ILS. So, that's a bit about the ILS. That's what we're flying today. Can you remember on the departure, Spencer, we were going through quite a lot of cloud?
Yes.
Weird, isn't it? It's quite disorientating. So you can have something called spatial disorientation. So you learn about it in your human performance part of your flight training. So you lose visual reference. The only references you've got then are your instruments in front of you. So if we covered everything up now, we'd only be able to see our instruments, and you'd have it's called your seat in the pants sense. So that's just how you're feeling with your, it's called your vestibular system. So if someone was in a plane and you shut your eyes and they were moving it about, eventually you get disorientated. You'd think you were turning right when you were turning left. You'd think you were climbing when you were descending. So for example, say you're in level flight, just flying along, and Spence all of a sudden was cheeky and added a bit more power. That's going to give the illusion that the aircraft nose is rising because of the acceleration pushback in your seat. That'll raise that. Well, it won't raise the nose, but it'll give you the sense that the nose is raising. Vice versa, if Spence was to cut the power back a bit in straight and level flight, you'd have the tendency to feel like you're descending. If you're in a spin and you keep spinning for a long period of time and you come out of the spin, you'll have the tendency of feeling like you're in the opposite direction. So you can see if how all these factors keep adding up, you're eventually not going to have a clue where you are in position wise in relation to everything. You'll think you're climbing when you're like pretty much descending vertically down towards the earth. So that's why it's drilled into pilots to what do you trust? Instruments. So you need to trust your instruments under any circumstances, even if you think they're lying to you. That's all the bias, conflict information from your vestibular system. You need to trust your instruments and you'll remain safe then. So there's been quite a lot of instances like the do you remember that Air France 447?
Vaguely.
Yeah, so it's completely disorientated, but it's easy said to not be. It's naturally going to happen. So as part of your training you will do some like upset recovery stuff, and when you've lost visual reference, and it is pretty have you done any of that yet, Spence?
Not yet.
No. So you'll do it in your private pilot license training and your upset recovery training, and it's actually really disorientating. It completely messes with your mind, so that's why it's really key to maintain that good instrument cross check, and ensuring that your co-pilot or your captain is also doing that as well, because you don't want conflict then, because I don't know, we might be in cloud, lose reference to stuff, and Spencer might think we're in a right turn, I might think we're in a left, and then it's like, well, what are we in? So yeah, that's a good thing to keep a lookout for, and it's actually a really interesting subject if you read into it. You will have to read into it if you're wanting to go down the flying route. And any questions on it, feel free to shout. Yeah, so that's a bit about spatial disorientation and how it can really mess with your mind. There's other factors at night that happen as well, so little things at night that can happen, like say you stare at a stationary light in the distance at night, it can actually appear to move. That's called autokinesis. There's other things as well called the black hole effect, where you're coming into to land at an airport at night where there's like it's water on the approach, can give you the effect that you're like flying into a black hole, and can give you all tunnel vision and stuff like that. So that's a few little things about spatial disorientation in the ILS. Oh yeah, one thing, we'll take auto brake 3 for landing, so
3 set.
That's been brief. Another thing, engine failures then. So there's something called an affato. So that's engine failure after takeoff. Usually they'll be trained from, they're called V1 cuts, aren't they, Spence? So you get a cut at V1. If you're a nervous flyer, it's probably pretty scary, but you train well for it, so it's almost a case of do this, 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 and this, and everyone will be fine. So you're rolling down the runway, happy as Larry, about to go down to Mallorca or wherever you're going. Then all of a sudden, bang! Oh no, this isn't going to be a very good day. First thing you should expect. So Boeing, in their infinite wisdom, if it's not an engine fire, if it's just a failure, there's no alarms, is there?
No alarms.
So all of a sudden you'll be rolling down the runway, and due to the asymmetric power, you'll just all of a sudden just be like, and your nose will be pointing in another direction. So that's due to the asymmetric power. All that is, if we were flying now, hand flying, with our feet off the rudders, all that stuff, and Spence was to disconnect, got some rain there. If Spence was to disconnect the auto throttle here by pressing these two buttons on the side,
Hailstone there.
Got a bit of thunder and lightning. Or also by disengaging the auto throttle switch here, got a bit of turbulence.
quite a fair bit.
So, we'll come back onto that in a second. What we just had there was turbulence. So you could see the aircraft really starting to move about a bit on the artificial horizon. That speed's dropped off. So what we'd do in this situation is we'd be guarding the controls and guarding the thrust. So if you want to keep me updated with the speed as well, Spence. We're just double checking that profile. So I think I'm going to take flight level 300 for the time being. So I'm going to go 300 vertical speed. And we're going to actually try and climb out of this turbulence now. Vertical speed. Set. Vertical speed 1,500 feet. Success.
Very nice.
So there's 274, so we'll level off at 280. Vertical speed set, 1,000 feet to go. VS 1000. And if you're happy, Spence, I'm just going to take a left-hand turn, so head and select just to manoeuvre around this cloud here. See that line in just there?
Yeah.
Head and select out of quiet.
Checked.
And we'll get back onto the engine failure stuff in a second. Yeah. And I'm going to take back LNAV now. So, we carried out the appropriate actions there. That got pretty rough. We didn't see anything on the display wise, but we'll be wary of that. Looks like some interesting weather actually, doesn't it? So we took the appropriate actions there, identified what we was in. The aircraft was starting to get quite upset, weren't it?
Yeah, very.
So what we did is climb above it. In real life, you would have requested that, so we'd just gone FlyMe 123, got weather requests, climb now to flight level 280. But so we got it again now, but not as bad this time, is it?
No.
And we've also started to get some wind up here as well. I'm going to take VNAV again. That'll bug Mach decimal 80. Got it again. Do you want to try flight level 300 this time?
Yep.
Right, flight level 300. Vertical speed 1,500. MCP speed, vertical speed. Starting to rock about again, isn't it? Time being.
Just to avoid all this.
That will probably just be like real life. You don't know you got it until you're in it, really, unless you got some stuff appear on the weather display, which we haven't today. But that's looking good now. So once again, carried out the appropriate actions again, and I'm going to go 290 out hold and VNAV. FMC speed, VNAV path.
Checked.
And we're approaching top of descent shortly. So where were we, Spence? Can you remember?
V1 cuts, I think.
V1 cut. So back again. You're rolling down the runway. Engine failure. Boom. So due to the asymmetric power, the aircraft is going to want to turn left or right, or yaw. Not roll, but yaw. It might develop into roll. So if Spence was to disconnect the auto throttle now, we won't do it, and cut the engine 2 back. No power's coming out of engine 2, but we've still got 87% coming out of engine 1. The aircraft's going to want to yaw round to the right. So we're going to automatically, instantly, put some rudder in to counteract that and maintain on the yaw axis of the aircraft and maintain that runway centreline. Once we're airborne, it'll be a smooth rotation, nice and smooth, nothing major, positive climb, gear up. Do nothing until 400 feet. Any master cautions will be cancelled by the pilot monitoring. 400 feet, it'll be state malfunction. Pilot monitoring and say, for example, go right. We've got 0 N1 rotation. Get up the secondary displays. We've got 0 N2, 0 fuel flow. So I'm thinking that's a pretty severe engine failure if it was that. So we go for the engine severe damage, separation checklist, memory items, and also things you could expect here alongside that. You'd be a loud bang, vibration, secondary parameters also indicating lower readings. After that would be memory items, so it'd be auto throttle, if engaged, disengage, thrust lever affected, engine close, idle, fuel can be cut off, fire switch pull, and that's that done. Key thing to remember throughout your whole flying career or whatever you do is the aviate, navigate, communicate. Fly the plane, navigate, and worry about air traffic last. In that sense, it sounds quite bad when you say it like that, but you need to prioritise flying the aircraft. So you call a B, I don't know, pan, fly me 1, 2, 3, engine failure, and then you'd continue to the engine failure procedure on the SID. So it'd be, I don't know,
CPM.
That's checked. We'll go 2,000, 3,000 feet. So the engine failure procedure might be route direct to a VOR, hold, and then you're going to do things. You're going to perform all your checklists, route to the arrival, talk to company operations, alt intervent, and get the plane back on the ground. So it's not too bad once training's done. As a passenger, you don't really need to worry about it, in my opinion. Spence, you agree? Don't need to worry about it. There'll be other things affected, but it's trained every 6 months, so it's all good. So we just started the descent now into NOC. So we're initially going down to 3,000 feet, and we've briefed the arrival, which is all good. And I'm going to route us direct to Kudag, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, happy with that.
Execute, confirm. Check. Retard. Get some speed brake out as well. So quite high at the moment on the VNAV profile, so we're just counteracting that by getting the speed up and also pulling out some speed brake there. So I know one thing that one of our certain pilots would be doing when he was at FlyMe or X-Airline, getting that NOC special in.
Yeah.
So when you're coming into NOC, you can order something over the radio called a NOC special, and basically the dispatcher will just come running out with some food to the aircraft, which is pretty nice. You don't get that in Heathrow, do you?
No, I don't.
Probably get told to do one.
Yeah. Southerners for you.
VNAV profile's coming back in. Speed brakes down. So the plan is in the future, actually, we're going to get some guest pilots on as well. So if you'd like to see that, remember that bell icon and you can get that watched. So other airline guys will be coming in, just see if they can have a taste in the sim. Also keeps them busy as well at the moment, doesn't it, with the furlough and stuff. And we're also going to have so at FlyMe we do run an academy for youngsters. It's is it 11 to 17 year olds, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah, 11 to 17. We run a FlyMe academy, so it's great tool for youngsters wanting to get into this aviation industry. Not even to be a pilot. So we have the air traffic aspect of it as well, don't we? We have a fully functional virtual reality room, which is pretty amazing. So I went on it for the first time, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, you really enjoyed it.
Actually blew me away. So it actually does things like size, a real perspective for what it looks like. So for the academy, it's currently run every 2 weeks, but it will also be coming weekly with the new academy coming in, the FlyMe Academy 2. It's a mixture of ages, as we said, 11 to 17. So I think the youngest we've got is they're year 9 at school, probably.
Year 9ish, yeah.
Year 9, and the oldest we've got is first level of sixth form.
Yeah.
So it's run in the evenings, 6 till 8. You come in, just learn some stuff. The goal is to have some fun, so that's what we want, and learn something. So if you've had fun and you've learned something, that's our goal. So for example, last week or last academy session, we were running engine failures. So just what we talked about then, the AFATO, so the engine failures after takeoff. The week before we were doing night circuits at Dubai, if you fancy that. Who wouldn't? So yeah, night circuits at Dubai, absolutely love that. And so the time will be split between the VR room and the sim, or might be all in the sim. We might do a careers talk, talks on theory and flying, But as long as people learn something, that's the goal. So the plan is actually to possibly get one of the youngsters in for one of the live flights. Let him show off some skills that he's acquired. He'll be doing the flying with myself. And if you want any route suggestions for that, I mean, don't go throwing him like a kite or something. Something nice. I don't know. It's totally up to you guys as the viewers. So plan is to get him in, one of the young lads from the academy, and show what he's learnt really. So it's amazing what they do learn into it. It's,
pick it up really quickly.
How many 11-year-old can say that they've just been flying a sim around Dubai at night doing single engine stuff? It's brilliant. And it's also nice to see him learn as well. So thrust lever's gone into R mode now, so I'm just going to put a bumper thrust in there. Got 24 miles to Kudag. And we've got 3,000 feet set. And we'll say we've been cleared onto QNH now. Approach checklist.
Approach checklist.
On the iPad.
Side. Altimeters.
1011 set and checked.
Mine's 1014, so there's discrepancy between.
Disagreement there, isn't there? Just want to get the weather again, just to confirm that. So that's why you do the cross checking into Spencer, so it's good to do.
1014 for
1014, so I'll set that now. 1014 set and checked.
1014 set and checked.
That's checked.
Approach checklist complete.
Super stuff. I've got the arrival plate up on my side. And 10,000 feet checks, please. And if we could strap everyone in. You have to wait to go to the loo now. If you want to order a knock special over the radio as well. Get a Nando's.
A Nando's, yeah.
So just bumping that thrust up a bit again, just because the speed was dropping there. Auto throttle's still engaged, but the thrust has gone into R mode, so that means I can also manipulate the thrust levers at the same time. Kudag wants us 250 knots at flight level 077. So 10,000 feet there, sterile cockpit again, so we'll probably start to go a bit quieter now. Weather was interesting, weren't it?
Yeah, very interesting.
But that's actually quite good for people watching.
Yeah.
Shows what happens. I didn't get anything on my weather display actually.
I didn't either, to be honest. Tired weather up.
Yeah. So every so often we might have a quick look at the overhead panel, won't we? So a little scan, so up, down, left to right. It's all broken up logically. And if next time you'd like to see us do a full start from cold and dark, please let us know. So it'd be something we'd like to show. I think it's quite a useful thing to watch. So it's all broken down logically. So you got, for example, your fuel panel, your electrics, lights, seatbelt signs, wipers, hydraulics, window heats, anti-ice, aircon. So get people saying it's too hot or too cold, you can move these little switches just here. They control the con, forward and aft cabin. Right, got 5 miles to go till Kudag. And is your side identified yet? No.
Not yet.
We'll both confirm when that's identified. And speed intervent, speed 250. MCP speed. So we can still use VNav, but we can also hit this little speed intervent button here, and that means we can intervene with the speed then. Just going to leave a tiny bit of speed brake in, just because it's not managing that descent without it. Right, there's less road. Pretty straight in approach, isn't it?
Yeah, nice and simple.
So next one is Anula, which we'll route to, and it'll be speed 240, 3,000 feet. It's not on profile actually as well. Said that like I'm surprised. So possibly expect some weather here as well.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Yes.
We always manage to have something exciting. I always go home tired.
Honest day's work.
Yeah. And we got some crosswind as well actually.
Yeah, I modified the fixed wings there. Instead of putting 4, I put 5 in.
If you want to have a talk to him about how you can set the weather and stuff, Spencer, I'll just follow this approach.
So ways you can set weather in terms of simulator is there's a program called Active Sky for X-Plane, and that lets you set different weather scenarios and conditions. So you could have it like fully IMC where you can't see anything out the window at all.
Just like now.
just like now. And you can use that for training purposes to get you used to flying in weather conditions that you wouldn't really expect, because you can't expect a Cabo-K clear weather day every single day. It's very unpredictable.
I mean, I'd rather it be like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'd rather it be smooth and calm, wouldn't you? But
sometimes it's nice to have a bit of a challenge in. So today we've actually got a bit of a crosswind now.
Yeah.
So you can also have a little wind vector arrow telling us where the wind's coming from in relation to our aircraft. Go Ketag. Saw a bit of lightning there.
Yeah. Things are getting interesting.
Yeah. Glad I'm not in knock at the moment.
Yeah.
Good old Barnsley instead, eh?
I think weather's same here, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, there we go, little break. Look at that, scenery looks lovely, doesn't it? Right, India Charlie Kilos are identified on my side line, 21.5 nautical miles. Have you got that as well?
Identified on mine at 21.2 miles.
Right, I'm going to go up speed now. And I'll take flaps 1, please.
Flaps 1.
I'm going to keep the up speed just for the time being. Go Vorlock. That's captured approach. Just standing by for glide slope intercept now. And flap 1 speed. And landing speed today will be 133. Let's just get that headwind component actually from the progress page. Might have to add on some more speed for VREF. So we've currently got 3 knots actually, so we'll just take VREF plus 5.
Plus 5, yeah.
And flaps 5, please.
Flaps 5. Very windy, yeah.
It is. Putting my skills to the test. Do you want to do this one, Swin? And as per, I'll go get out at 15.7 miles.
Yeah.
Unless I feel like configuring earlier just with the wind, but it should be alright. So about to, we'll say we've been cleared to land, so if you want to do your landing lights and stuff, and if you want to bing the cabin. Quite looking forward to this one. 1,000 to go. Here it begins.
Yeah. Into IMC.
We should start descending out of it in a second though, but we'll be careful with that MSA. So we'll keep it in VNAV at the moment, coming down. And if you just let me know if you get visual before me. Visual.
Visual.
I'm glad we're not coming down in all that cloud.
Ooh. No.
That's when the minimums, as we spoke about earlier, would probably come into use. And if you could keep an eye on that misapproach feeder and just as we do it, walk me through. Right, glide slope's alive. Checked. We're on the localizer, speed flap 5's looking good, glide slope's alive, we're on VNAV profile, what's pretty set, just them OCD things just there.
OCD. Yeah.
Take configure nice and early, so gear down flat 15.
Gear down. Flat 15.
VNAV out.
Checked.
Run out's alive, key in H1014.
1014. Checked.
So we're really keeping an eye on that flight path now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Just to make sure we're not exceeding any approach limits, which would mean we have to carry out a misapproach. So there's glide slope capture. Flap 30 please.
Flap 30.
And landing speed 138. Right, when we're all configured that, I'm going to go manual thrust, manual flight, and I'll continue down with the flight directors as I may as well. You'll have to rate my landing out of 10.
I think the Z board does it fired in stars.
Oh, right, yeah. Right. Manual thrust. Manual flight. Oh. Ride 'em, cowboy. Even though there's no motion, like it's rocking all over the place. And if you could tell me if we do get over, say, 1500 feet per minute and descent rate and stuff like that. So, correction on the height.
Exceeding 1500.
Checked. And we're visual. Sleep well after this. And we're back stable there. Ooh. Just chasing those flight directors. How's it looking outside, Spence?
Very interesting. Looking good though, 2 reds, 2 white.
Checked. Checked.
1000 feet. Yeah. Stable.
Checked. Speed's maintaining better than I thought, actually. There's a bit of a drop there, weren't it? Visual. Checked.
3 reds, 1 white.
Checked.
3 rights, 1 left. Correct.
Checked.
300. 200. 100. Numerals. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Knots. Reverse is null.
Manual brakes. And breathe. Oh.
How did that go for you?
Windy.
Very.
So you can see that's what we can replicate in the sim. And it's bloody brilliant actually. Right, I'm going to take right. If you could get up a taxi chart for us on the other side. Well, welcome to Knock.
Yeah.
And we'll shove it on a little self position as some king airs nicked our spot. And after landing procedure. I hope you all enjoyed that. I did.
Yeah.
So
Very sporty.
that's our running line now. Very sporty.
Yeah.
So that was Manchester to Knock, real world weather. So hope you learnt a lot from that about the engine failure stuff. What else did we cover? The SIDS,
Vectors. That kind of.
vectors, the ILS, weather, which is quite a big one. So yeah, as long as you're picking something up every time, that's absolutely brilliant. And any other route suggestions, please let us know. In the meantime, please leave a like on the video, subscribe. If you do want to come to the sim, head over to the website, get booked in. You'll be flying with one of us guys, and also the bell icon as well. That will notify you when we go live. But yeah, we thoroughly enjoyed that. So thanks very much for tuning in, and have a good rest of the day.